Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From the earliest of ages and preschool cartoons to the edgiest adult cartoons around, TV cartoons not only shaped many of our childhoods, but also entertain and inform us way later in life. From the man whose clothes fall off after just taking off his bowler hat to a family of yellow humanoids with overbites, TV cartoons are for all ages. And here's our favorite fact hunter, Neil, with his top 10 facts about TV cartoons.
Thank you very much, Pav. Here we go. In 1961, the Flintstones became more popular than ever after they advertised cigarettes on TV. Sally Brown from the Peanuts cartoon was voiced by the Black Eyed Peas singer Fergie between 1984 and 1985.
Never.
Spongebob caused a stir in an episode making a joke about prison rape. Want to hear it? The line was, "Don't drop the soap." An episode of Tiny Toons was banned for showing them drunk. Apparently, the episode was done to warn kids of the dangers of alcohol. When the UK stopped airing TV due to World War II, the last thing that was aired was a Mickey Mouse cartoon. After the war finished, the first show that played on TV was the same Mickey Mouse cartoon. Mel Blanc, the voiceover artist from many of our favourite cartoon characters, has "That's all, folks" written on his tombstone. The iconic characters of Beavis and Butthead were inspired by creator Mike Judge's childhood friends. According to Judge, Bobby Beavis was a kind of athletic kid who had lived 3 blocks from him during college. And Butthead's inspiration was a 12-year-old called himself Iron Butt because he would claim he never got injured by a kick to the arse. In the original He-Man cartoon of the 1980s, He-Man could not use his sword as it was an offensive weapon or punch or kick anyone due to the broadcast standards of the period. In fact, he was mostly non-violent and usually just outsmarted his enemies. Walt Disney personally hated the Goofy character and found its cartoons to be stupid. And the only reason he didn't axe the character is that it gave work to so many animators. And finally...
Oh, go on, give us the...
And finally,
Yeah.
in the French dub Simpsons, Homer's dough is translated to toe.
Oh, I didn't press it. Oh.
It's all gone Pete Tong.
Well, there we go.
There we are.
Really? Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah, it is true.
That's crazy. Well, we're here to talk TV cartoons. And when we thought of cartoons, we thought no one better than he's a podcaster, he's a writer, he is a beacon of truth, hope, and positivity. Ladies and gentlemen, Giles Payley-Phillips, our pal Giles, is with us once again.
Lovely to see you guys. Thanks for inviting me on this new podcast. I'm very excited.
You know,
Thank you very much for coming.
We literally just started this podcast so we could talk to you again.
We did. I literally just said to Pav, I said, when Giles comes on, you always feel instantly better. No matter what, you just feel better. So thank you for that, Giles.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Yeah, I'm always looking forward to it.
And you're not feeling too... There's a couple of us here that's a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, it's the kids have gone back to school, so there's bugs around again. So yeah, that's right. We'll battle through.
We will battle through and talk about TV cartoons. That's what we'll do. Before we do, we have to. I should have got the Ghostbusters "We Got One" soundbite because we've got another Patreon donator.
Oh, fantastic!
So thank you very much to Pavo Live HD, which is a Twitch channel, and for all. You know, to be clear, and what's the official term for clarity or whatever it is? It's my son, but he wants me to push his Twitch channel, whatever that is. I don't know. I don't understand. I think you sit there and watch other people play computer games. I think is that right, Giles?
I talked to we had Dom Jolly on the podcast recently, and he's just started a Twitch channel.
Oh, right.
And Jim and I was aware of it, but I didn't know really what it is. Yeah, I think it is mainly just watching live video game playing.
Yeah,
which still baffles me.
I know.
I mean, like the idea of watching someone else play a game when you could be going and playing the game yourself live.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have very many conversations with my children about this.
Yeah. So as much as I say I don't understand it, please go and follow Pavo Live HD on Twitch. I will probably pop the link in the show notes. If it keeps my boy happy and entertained, then he is 34, mind you. He should be out getting a job, to be honest. Right, but we're here for the main reason to talk about our top 10 TV cartoons. And we're going to start with our guest. So, Giles, what is your number 10?
Well, this was incredibly difficult to do this. So I think when I've done kind of things like this before, it's always go with gut instincts. So it's kind of the ones I've chosen are literally just ones that popped into my head straight away. So at number 10, I've got Mask. Now,
right.
this isn't Mask as in the Jim Carrey, because there was an animated series of like spin-off from the movie Mask. This is Mask, which was in the sort of mid-80s. This came out. Mask stands for, I had to get it up on screen because I was thinking it does stand for, it's got an acronym. So it stands for Mobile Armored Strike Command. Command is with a K, of course. It wouldn't have worked if it had been MASK. Anyway, so it was a French animated television series, but it was obviously like very much American voice cast, and it all centered around a guy called Mac Tracker, who had who basically is this armored strike command. Is it like a kind of, I suppose, special forces kind of crew, which he has all these kind of militarized vehicles. Well, the vehicles like normal vehicles, but then can become militarized. They've got weapons in them, or like, so he's got like a Trans Am, and the doors go up and it can fly. So they're kind of like gadgety cars and trucks, and they've got weapons in them. And they fight against this evil force called Venom. Now, Venom is also supposed to be an acronym, but there's nothing online about what it is. So whether they just didn't bother with the acronym for Venom, I was just going to call it Venom.
Yeah.
Vehicle. Let's not bother.
Yeah. They probably left it. They probably left it to the guy that did the acronym for Matt. Oh, he's got it.
I've got it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've seen it now. It's stretching a little thing. It's called Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem. So the leader of the bad guys was called Max Mayhem, and they all had their own vehicles as well. And so the idea of the mask thing is that they all wore these sort of helmets, these masks, and there was a spin-off toy. And I think the reason I loved it was because I had some of the toys and stuff, which is,
right.
In the 80s, there was a lot of sort of spin-off cartoons. And actually in my list, there's a few spin-off kind of things that I used to enjoy getting the toys and then watching the cartoons as well. I think it used to be broadcast on BBC One, sort of after school sort of time.
It sounds similar to like Transformers, that kind of thing.
Very similar ilk to Transformers and G.I. Joe, which was a cartoon as well. So very similar style of cartoon as well. It was really entertaining. However, I did watch it. Yeah, I watched an episode in preparation for this. I've really taken this seriously. I thought I need to go back and watch it. I mean, obviously hasn't held up particularly well. And also what got me was that there's a bit where they kind of call the alarm for all the guys to come and there's emergency, and they call, but they've all got regular jobs. So it's a bit like the lifeboats volunteers. They just kind of like, there's a guy spinning a pizza and he just drops it on the floor. And also that they just walk out of whatever they're doing. There's a guy in who's a teacher. He just walks out of the classroom. It's like really hilarious. And then they just go and they meet up and they go and fight the vicious evil network of mayhem. So yeah, it still gives me like I did not that long ago look on eBay to see like if you could still get hold of the toys.
Oh, really?
And obviously they're very, very expensive now because they're so collectible. But
yeah.
So I quickly closed eBay because I thought I can't justify spending £80 on a very small plastic toy.
Yeah.
No.
See, I remember the toys well. I don't remember the TV series. That's the thing. I do remember seeing the toys around, but yeah.
See, I can't remember either, to be perfectly honest.
Not?
I honestly can't. If I looked at it and saw it, it might jog some memories, but no, not for me. Okay, good one to start with then, Giles. Neil, what's your number 10?
Well, mine's a real, let's go back in time to the original Spider-Man animated series. I was a huge fan growing up. I mean, I don't need to relay the plot to anybody because it is the standard story that we've seen a million times before. But I used to absolutely get enthralled every week with the villains that he would fight. And I'm not too sure when the date was when this came out. But every week when it was on, I'd be glued to it. And so much so that they've now got it on Disney Plus, and I've been watching them all again from the beginning. And I've been really enjoying it. Now, of course, it's dated dreadfully, but it's still got that kitsch. And I still think it's great fun. And I've been really enjoying watching them.
It used to be the bit when you'd see Spider-Man and he'd be shooting his webs and just swinging, but above the tops of the buildings.
That's
you
it.
Wonder what he was shooting what his webs were actually attaching to swing. See,
quite often all the way through the thing, he'd suddenly fire off his web to get away from a situation, but you never see where he fires it.
Yeah.
So,
but that was very close to me being in my top 10.
Yeah, and of course it has the iconic theme tune as well, doesn't it? I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man theme tune is just. Well, they've recreated it for Godless.
Sorry, Neil. Is this the kind of 60s one, the really old
I think
one?
it was more 70s, wasn't it? Yeah, but that one. It was sort of the end of the 60s into the 70s. They used to show it. It was always on a school holiday in the morning.
Yeah,
I can't remember what channel it was on. And I used to be glued to it. I used to find it mesmerizing. And I always remember after watching so many episodes that we were in. Like Debenhams or somewhere like that with my mum, being forced to go shopping, and there was a Spider-Man mug with all the animated, like the Spider-Man himself and all the villains around the mug, and I managed to persuade her to buy me that, and I kept that until literally probably about 10 years ago when it accidentally broke.
And now they're £80 on eBay.
Yeah.
Okay, right. My number 10 is a pretty new cartoon. It's F is for Family.
Oh yeah,
which is on Netflix, which is a Bill Burr. I'm halfway through series 3 at the moment, and as much as you can sort of say, well, it's very sort of Simpson-ish, Family Guy, I think it's a little bit more realistic than those, but set in the 70s. And it's about Bill Burr. I think it's Bill Burr's family, isn't it? And
it is,
his dad. And obviously, we were very lucky to talk to Michael Price, who's an executive producer on The Simpsons and also on F is for Family. It's one of those ones that I like because there's no holds barred in it. The language is as bad as it wants to be. It's not making any apologies for how bad the language is and how near the knuckle the racism or the sexism or just how bad, gross it can be. It's just about real life. And that was a late, in fact, Spider-Man was my number 10. And then I swapped it out for F is for Family because I think it's just one that I'm watching at the moment and really enjoying. So that's my number 10. Right, number 9 then, Giles.
My number 9 is Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
Which was, I think, was first aired probably on Nickelodeon. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It was a Nickelodeon show, but it was just like really weird, and I loved the weirdness of it. I mean, I'm a big fan of David Lynch. I think if David Lynch made a kids' cartoon show, it would be Ren and Stimpy. And what I loved about it was like it had, obviously, it was quite surreal and strange, but they used to have like still pictures that they would flash up in like certain scenes. So there's an episode I really love where Ren, who is the Chihuahua character, and there's Stimpy's a cat. Ren thinks he's getting old, basically, and he's sort of, and he's like, "Oh, look, Stimpy, liver spots," and then these like liver spots start popping up on his hand, and then there's like a still of him, like, and his teeth are falling out, and it's just this really gross, and like the animation is amazing, and I just loved it. And I guess it was a bit of a precursor to things like SpongeBob, but much more weird and out there, and surreal. And I just loved it. I just used to find, and the voices were incredible. I mean, both voices for Ren and Stimpy, and me and my friend used to always quote it. Try and do impersonations of Ren, and yeah.
I noticed, and very good. I will give you a round of applause for that. That was very good.
You're so stupid, Stimpy.
Yeah. I'd actually forgotten about Ren and Stimpy. How stupid is that? Oh dear.
I noticed on like my top 10, and then looking on, like, you go on Google and put Google top 10 comedies, cartoons, and I've left off some really big names but because I've not watched them, like I've never watched Ren and Stimpy. I'll say just out of the thing now. So never really got into Family Guy, never really watched, this is going to sound crazy, South Park. But I know that if I watched South Park, I'd really love it. I remember watching it when it first came out and thought, my God, this is amazing. And then just never watched it anymore. And there's 30 seasons.
Well, still going, isn't it?
I think it's isn't it sort of up there with The Simpsons as on how many like series they've done, and keep going. And I know I should start from the start. And so, I've opened up to the fact that none of those are in my top 10. And Ren and Stimpy is one of those ones where it's a little bit more on that line between children's and adult. It lent a little bit more over to adult, didn't it? I mean, it wasn't an adult cartoon, but
the themes, there was a lot of adult themes in it.
Yeah.
Like, like things like aging and like there was like I say, it's lots of surreal. I mean, I'm trying to remember some of the other episodes. There's one where Stimpy falls in love with a chicken, and like he wants to marry the chicken, and Ren really wants to eat the chicken,
right.
And like, and like there's this sort of two, and every time, like Ren keeps sneaking to try and steal the chicken and eat the chicken anyway. But it's quite like kind of gross and very sort of, but actually quite a lot of pathos and poignancy in quite a lot of the episodes as well. So yeah, I really did love it. I've tried showing it to my kids, and they're not as, I think you do need to be a bit older. I think I think I didn't get into watching it till I was like sort of 17 or 18.
Right. When you could do the impersonation.
Well, I could do the impersonations.
Yeah. Right, Neil, you're number 9.
Mine's SpongeBob. Now, this always surprises me that I put it in a top 10 in a sense, but my kids became huge SpongeBob watchers, and then obviously looking after them, I ended up watching it and got hooked on it myself. And found it a real cross between childish humor and humor for adults in there. And I think it's one of the funniest things out there that's probably is aimed directly for children, isn't it? And then obviously it went into the movies. I think the first movie is absolutely genius.
Is that with David Hasselhoff, the first movie?
Yeah, he's in both of them actually.
Oh, is he in both of them?
Yeah. But yeah, the first movie, and Scarlett Johansson, she voices the princess, doesn't she, in the movie? But the episodes, there's so much subtext underneath for the adults to pick up and laugh at along with the kids. And I love a cartoon when they do that successfully. I really do. It's it makes it entertaining to watch. There's nothing worse than trudging off to the cinema with the kids to watch a cartoon and it's just for kids and you're mind-numbingly bored. But yeah, SpongeBob, and obviously the creator's died now, isn't he? He died young, didn't he? But yeah, he's left behind a great legacy, I think.
We were just literally watching SpongeBob before I came up to start this podcast. And hilarious. It was an episode where there's this seal, and he's got this like really strong tan, and Patrick and SpongeBob are trying to get into this. He's having like a disco, and he won't let anyone in if they haven't got the appropriate tan. And obviously SpongeBob and Patrick are quite quite pink and yellow. So yeah, SpongeBob gets put on a. They try and get a sunbed sorted out, and and Patrick gets perfectly tanned, and then these girls pick him up, and he's like, and he leaves SpongeBob in there for 2 hours, and then SpongeBob's just, and they get a bit like the Ren and Stimpy ones, where they have those sort of steals.
That's it.
Of like, you know, and it's just like him. He's all like aged and wrinkled, and his teeth are falling out. just brilliant. Yeah, so funny. Very great.
I have to
and like
say,
I say, the movies are fantastic.
They are fantastic. I have to say, Patrick is my favorite character. He's just an angel that keeps on giving. You never watched it, pal?
Yeah. I've watched it. I again, that was one of the ones that was close to being in my top 10, but it's like you can't have them all in there, can you?
No,
unfortunately. All right, my number 10 is BoJack Horseman. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this one, but this is Will Arnett. It's another one of those ones that it's not overtly funny all the way through, but and some of it is like really like painful to watch in regards to like relationships and stuff, but Will Arnett is so good, and Paul F. Tompkins I'm a big fan of Paul F. Tompkins with his improv, and he does a podcast called Freedom, which is fantastic, just really, really funny. So again, it's one of those newer ones. I think it's actually finished now. Again, I think I'm on to series 3. I think they did 5 series and finished on 5 or 6 series, I think it was, but I thoroughly recommend it. It's got the guy that played Jesse in Breaking Bad. Can I remember his name? Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. That's it. Well done.
Yeah, he's another voice in it, and it's really good. To sort of say what it's about just makes it sound absolutely ridiculous. You know, he is a horse man that's an actor. And his best friend is like a dog who's an actor, but they're in sort of humanoid form. But then his PA is a normal girl that he falls in love with. It's weird. It's a weird mix of stuff. But again, I'm a massive fan of Will Arnett as well. I think he's got a great voice. He's got a great voice for like radio and voiceovers and stuff. So, okay, number 8 then, Giles.
Big Mouth.
Ooh.
Oh, I've got that at number 6.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right. I haven't got that at all because I've got no idea what it is. What's Big Mouth?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Do you want me to carry on? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
I'll chip in.
Yeah. So it is. Nick Kroll is the kind of, I think, is probably the showrunner, I guess, creator. Along with some other people, and he's the main sort of voice actor in it. It's about 2. I guess it focuses on a couple of prepubescent kids at the beginning who suddenly enter puberty within the first episode, and then they discover one of them discovers he's got a puberty monster who is kind of like this sort of satanic kind of character who's sort of trying to persuade him to get laid at every sort of second of the time, and it's just like it's teenagers dealing with puberty really, but it's incredibly funny, very dark. And just hilarious. It's just brilliantly done. It's brilliantly animated, and I just think the whole kind of concept has not been sort of done as such in anything before, to really focus on that one particular area of teenage life. So I think it's really, really good.
It really is righteous. I think it's so funny, and the fact they don't shy away from showing you whatever is full on is quite brave and funny. But the Duke Ellington bits just make me roar.
It's so good.
In the attic, I just roar with laughter. The advice he gives. Good. It's one you really should watch, pal.
Okay. And is it a sort of relatively new?
I think it's 3 series now.
Yeah, third series has just been out this year, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it develops. And the Duke Ellington bit's hilarious. He's like a ghost in this attic.
Yeah,
and he sort of gives like love advice and stuff. But it's just, again, the voice. A lot of these things, like the voice cast, is so good in it. And then the puberty monster's voice is incredible.
It's just so funny. Of course, there's a female puberty monster as well.
Yes.
Right.
So you can imagine what happens there.
I will definitely give that a look. And that's on Netflix, you said, yeah?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, yeah.
Okay. All right, then. Neil, you're number 8.
Danger Mouse. Let's go back to being a child again. David Jason and Terry, what's his name?
Terry Scott. That's my number 7, by the way, just to let you know.
Is it? Yeah, I was a huge fan of Danger Mouse. and still really do like it. They remade it recently. Were you aware of this? And did you watch it?
I didn't,
Watch
because
it.
as far as I'm concerned, David Jason and Terry Scott.
Yeah, it didn't work. It really didn't work. It didn't have the charm and the finesse of the original. So I just love the fact that you were basically watching a short Bond movie, but with a mouse.
Yeah.
That's all it
Baron
really was.
Greenback.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's it.
Was it Penfold, wasn't it? Penfold.
Penfold was
yeah.
Terry Scott, yeah. David Jason.
Crikey, Chief. There you go. That's
just
my,
like him as well.
That's my impersonation. So that's mine. Giles has got his, Neil.
Yeah.
But in the next sort of 7 or 8 places, you come up with your.
Yeah, we'll have a go. We'll have a go.
Okay, so that's my number 7, but my number 8 is Banana Man.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Eric.
It nearly made my list.
Which was it was the goodies, wasn't it? That the voices of it. And I think as a kid, it was one that felt like I maybe shouldn't be watching this. I know you watch it now and it's really tame, but it felt very edgy. And it also felt like it's obviously taking the piss out of Batman and an American style sort of superhero, but he's just a guy that eats a banana or whatever and then transforms into Banana Man. And I just loved it. There's this one and one that didn't make it into my top 10, which was Super Ted, were the two that I loved watching at the same time. Super Ted again had Derek Griffiths and Melvin Hayes.
Was it John Pertwee, Super Ted? Wasn't he?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
John Pertwee.
Was he spotty?
Yeah.
I think he was spotty. Yeah. And it was, and I think they came out sort of around the same time. So it'd be Banana Man and Super Ted you'd sort of watch together. But one of my favorites from being a kid, that and sort of Spider-Man were like the ones as a kid. And then apart from the classics, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later on. Okay, so Giles, your number 7.
Number 7 is Transformers.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, so again, I like a bit my Mask. I was really into the toys, and I think the toys came out first. I think Hasbro brought out the toys first, and then they sort of created the world sort of after that, sort of post the toys coming out, and then there was comic books and the cartoon, and then obviously there was an animated movie which was very good. Had Orson Welles' voice.
That's right, yeah.
Unicron, and then a Nimoy and stuff. So they had like great voice cast, and then obviously they've done the pretty dire Michael Bay movies that have come out more recently. But I think back in the day it was great, and I think there was the reason I chose it was a nostalgia thing. Really, there was me and about 3 or 4 friends were just deep and steeped in like the whole kind of myth, the kind of the mythology of it all and the backstory, and we were just so sort of steeped in it, and we used to get the comic books and always used to put the movie on, the cartoon movie, which was actually really good, and it was quite edgy as well, and it had a classic 80s soundtrack. It was just like the whole film has got guitar solos underneath pretty much. But again, I really like the movie. I think it's really good. So yeah, that was a big one for me that I used to love watching, and probably would still happily watch that now. Really, interestingly enough, they obviously got back the guy, I can't remember the name of the guy, but who did Optimus Prime's voice. They got him to voice it in the movies, didn't they?
They did,
movies. Yeah. Because it's so iconic. Again, it's such an iconic voice for that part. So yeah.
I think I was slightly too old and I missed all things like the Transformers, because obviously I was massively into Star Wars, the Star Wars figures that came out and when they first came out. So I was playing with them, not collecting them and putting them up on my wall like I've done now. £80 off eBay, those kind of things. But yeah, I never really got into Transformers, and even like the first movie was okay, but the rest of them were just, to me, just like the worst kind of cinema. So you could never understand what was going on. They're
dreadful. The movies are not good. I
can understand what you mean by getting caught up in the whole mythology, and especially when I think if it's being bombarded where you got toys, comic books, cartoons, it's just you're soaking everything up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil, was you a fan?
I think I was the same as you, because I don't really recall it. So I think it sort of passed me by. Maybe I was a bit older. I just, I knew of it, but I didn't sort of indulge in it. And maybe the same as you, maybe it was Star Wars was in the way, or Spider-Man or whatever. So I sort of missed it a bit. Although I was given a toy randomly in one of my Christmas presents.
What, last year?
Yeah. And I always remember.
So what have I got this?
Randomly, yeah. But I always thought to myself, I'm a bit old to be getting toys now. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So when somebody did give it to me, I genuinely did think, I'm a bit old for this now.
I mean, the toys were great. I mean, the toys were really good. You know, the idea of transferring, you know, your truck or whatever into a robot was just amazing. And I think it was the movie really, although obviously, you know, this is TV cartoons. I loved the TV cartoons, but the movie really was a bit of a set apart really, because it went a bit darker and more serious. And I think obviously by the time the movie came out, I was a bit older, so sort of it kind of grew with me. So I really loved it as a kid. So I had to put it in the list.
That's cool.
Fair
okay,
enough.
Neil, you're number 7.
Futurama. Yeah.
Futurama is my number 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll let you talk about that. I mean, it could easily have been higher. Just fantastic comedy. I think it had a few hit and miss series. Some of the series weren't as strong as other series, but that happens all the time when it goes. And it unfortunately was cancelled far too early, and then they brought it back, but it didn't come back in the same, to me, with the same style or sort of writing. Are you a fan, Pav?
You know, that was another one of the ones that I put in with like Family Guy. It's one of those ones that I've watched a couple of episodes, but not. But I know if I was to get and say watch a whole series one after the other, I'd really enjoy it. Yeah, because it's the same kind of humor as The Simpsons, and
and each character is great. I mean, I've got fondness. Obviously, everybody should love Bender. He's just fantastic. But Zoidberg makes me laugh.
Zoidberg is my favorite character.
Yeah, just the way he comes in and out sometimes, and the noises he makes. It's just fantastic. But yeah, it's just great. Matt Groening. I mean, I was thinking about Matt Groening. I was thinking of. Has anybody watched Disenchanted?
Yeah, I've watched the first series and the kids have watched it. I just didn't do it for me.
Doesn't seem to have any of the charm like he brought into The Simpsons or just and Futurama. It just feels a bit dead to me. But yeah, but Futurama, well worth watching. This on Disney Plus, Pav.
Okay, what we'll do, Giles, is we'll let you talk about your number 1 when we're all talking about number 1s. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, right. So we've done my number 7, which was Danger Mouse. So Giles, your number 6.
Scooby-Doo.
Hey.
Ruby-Roo.
There's another one.
2 impersonations there.
Oh my God, sorry, Neil. I probably stole your thunder then. You're probably going to do
typical Mike Yarwood.
I think I've got a really interest in like true crime and stuff. And not that Scooby-Doo is true crime, but certainly that sort of sense of mystery. That, you know, I really enjoy kind of mystery shows and things like that now, and listening to true crime podcasts and thing. I think that stems from Scooby-Doo and the mystery, you know, obviously the Mystery Machine and the show. But I'm talking about not when Scrappy-Doo came into it. Ruined it.
Yeah.
That really did ruin the series.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the sort of earlier ones, probably the first few series of it, where it was proper. It was a bit more. I don't know. Again, it was a little bit more sinister in parts, and obviously the silly slapsticky stuff. But I just liked the kind of mystery that around it, and it was just again one of those things as a nostalgic thing. I was just thinking of those early Scooby-Doos. I think we had I remember as a kid that we only had about 4 or 5 VHSs at home that we'd recorded stuff off the TV, and there was always loads of Scooby-Doo episodes, sort of that obviously that someone had recorded to put on when I was being a bit raucous, and so I'll quickly put a video on for him to watch, and there was always Scooby-Doo on it. So I think it sort of stayed with me a little bit.
Yeah, there was some genuine sort of scary character designs of some of the ghosts and stuff. I can remember, I think especially on the intro. Would it be the Scooby-Doo song? And they show quick sort of flashes of ghosts and stuff. And I can remember there were some that were quite unsettling.
Yeah.
No, they weren't genuine.
They weren't. No,
genuinely. Yeah.
And I mean, Shaggy is obviously a stoner, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's loads of innuendo to do with, like, you know, because he's always hungry. He's always got the munchies, isn't he? So yeah, again, like there was a lot of like this sort of underlying sort of messages and sort of subplots and stuff that only sort of adult watchers would have kind of got.
Yeah. And what was the blonde bloke's name?
Fred.
Yeah.
Fred, and what was the
There was Wilma, Daphne.
Daphne,
yeah. So Fred and Daphne would always go off together, and so
Because when they did the movie, they cast it perfectly, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, they really did.
Well, it's Freddie Prinze Jr., wasn't it?
It was, and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard as.
Well, that's a '90s Brat Pack.
That is absolutely. Right, Neil, you've done your number 6.
I have.
My number 6 is Rick and Morty.
That's my number 2.
Oh, that's your number 2. I don't think there's, apart from the obvious, there is a cartoon series that I started watching and sort of instantly thought, this is exactly me. This is exactly the sort of thing that I like. Again, from the animation to the characters to the sound, just everything about it is fantastic. I haven't got through all the series yet, but it's one of those things that I sort of almost like don't want to be waiting for another series. I'd rather be watching it, you know, one episode every now and then, so that I've got them all the time instead of having to wait, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. So Rick and Morty.
So when I first saw it, it felt like it revitalized. It felt like when I first saw The Simpsons, and you thought, "Wow, what's this?"
Yeah.
And the writing in it, and the little sub jokes they put in there that are really wrong. If you listen to the people in the background, some of the things they're saying, they shouldn't be saying.
Yes.
Like one in particular in the school, isn't it, where the girl says to the other girl randomly, "I love bukkake," which is the most complete random thing, but it makes me raw. Have you seen?
It's so layered. That's the thing.
Have you seen Solar Opposites, which is his other one, which is on Fox? That's very much like Rick and Morty, but with the gloves off, if you know what I mean. So we don't have the bleeps, we don't have everything's in. So everything's game, but I'd highly recommend it. It's not as classic as Rick and Morty, but it is funny.
Okay, all right then, we'll give that one a go. Number 5, that was my number 6, wasn't it? Yeah, number 5 for you then, Giles.
Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
Again, chosen because I think I was getting really into like rock music when that came out, and they always used to cut in obviously the MTV stuff. So you get like Alice in Chains would suddenly appear doing a song like Wood or something, and then you go back to these two sort of weird characters who were just I think it was just, I guess everyone knew someone who was like Beavis and Butthead at school, and it was just something that we always used to go around doing I'm not going to do one impersonations of Beavis and Butthead laughing, and again it was that sort of slightly surreal kind of thing that I liked. And obviously, Mike Judge has done loads of good stuff. You know, Henry of the Hill. Is it Hank of the Mill?
No, King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
King of the Hill was excellent. Just we loved the animation style and stuff. And again, it was just something that we all used to watch as that time in my life, probably like 15, 16-ish.
I mean, it got so successful, it spawned a movie, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
Didn't they come back though? Didn't they come back?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Long ago.
Don't know. I don't know if it would be so. It worked well then because it was that kind of MTV generation
of its time.
Yeah, very much so. And I think I don't know if it would work so well now.
No,
we've moved on culturally, but I think it's. I don't know. I just have a sort of soft spot for it.
Yeah. So I take it then, Neil, you haven't got that in your remaining.
Well, Beavis and Butthead is one of the ones I moved in and out. It kept appearing and disappearing.
Because that was another one that I thought everybody would put that in their top 10, and I haven't got it in my top 10 because I never really watched it at the time. But I think you're right, Giles. I think it's of its time, definitely that one. A lot of the ones that we've chosen, I think, are ones that would work sort of any. Well, I say that Scooby-Doo, I suppose, would work any time, but it definitely, the way they dress feels like it's a 60s stroke 70s sort of thing. But Okay, then Neil, you're number 5.
Family Guy. It took me a while to get into Family Guy, like you, Pav. I sort of let it pass me by, and then somebody kept pestering me and saying, "You really ought to watch it. It's so up your street." So I did start. They lent me the first series on box set, and off I went. And it's just really funny. I think Seth MacFarlane's never been. Well, he's never been funnier, has he? Let's face it. The other stuff he does is a bit dubious, but but all the characters
that he did was terrible,
wasn't it? Once Upon a Time in the West, truly awful. I mean, Ted was terrible.
1,000 Ways to Die in the West or something, wasn't it?
There's something like that, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was dreadful. But Peter Griffin has become iconic now, hasn't he? He's a bit like Homer. Everybody knows. Good old.
There you go. There it is. There it is. Well done, Neil.
And all the other characters. I mean, there's a few
Neil, I will say that was a terrible Homer, but at least you've got your impersonation out the way.
We tried, didn't we? But it's created spin-offs. The Cleveland shows a spin-off from Family Guy, and I find it, again, they're not scared to have a go at what everybody else says you shouldn't have a go at, and I think it's really, really quite funny. And I'm surprised you've never watched it, Pat. Really?
No, I'll tell you what. I think the reason was because it felt to me like it was trying to be like The Simpsons, and I know it's not. I know it's not, and I know it's a little bit more adult than The Simpsons.
Oh, a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that might have been the thing that just put me off it. It's like, it's a family comedy. You've got like a big father that's sort of like outspoken and drinks, and that kind of put me off. I'm the same with Family Guy as I'm with Futurama and South Park and things like that. I know that if I watched it, I would probably love it.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got too much TV to have to watch. That's the trouble.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's too much to watch.
Yeah.
But the Family Guy has a great crossover episode with The Simpsons.
I have seen that.
You have seen that.
Yeah, and that is really good.
Yeah.
That is really good. Right, my number 5 is one from my childhood, Hong Kong Phooey.
Hey.
Number 1 super guy, Hong Kong Phooey. Quicker than the human eye. He's got style, a groovy style. I'm not going to. It's not going to. Okay. I haven't watched it for probably about 45 years. But what I remember about it was that it reminds me of school holidays. That was it. It was either Christmas or it was summer. But I could probably just watch the opening credits on a loop, and it would take me back to 1977 or 1978. And him, trying to get out of the chest of drawers or whatever it is, the filing cabinet and stuff like that. And could be.
That's it. The mild mannered janitor.
It's fantastic. I mean, like I say, I don't know how I get on with, because didn't that have canned laughter in it? I think that had canned laughter, didn't it? And I hate, that's one thing I'd put in room 101.
Was it Hanna-Barbera then?
It was Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, because they did a lot of canned laughter in their shows.
They did. Yeah, so I think, like I say, that'd be in my room 101 is canned laughter. I hate laughter.
I hate it.
I absolutely hate it. But yeah, so that's my number 5. Okay, Giles, you're number 4.
Henry's cat.
Wow,
that's a blast from the past. I'd even forgotten about that.
Henry's cat.
Yeah, Bob Godfrey, who obviously did
Rhubarb and Custard.
Yeah. But Henry's cat was a sort of level up from that. It was very surreal, and very funny. It was just very funny. And I've actually shown the kids some episodes recently on YouTube, and they thought it was really funny as well. So I think it stood up actually. Just the voices were excellent, and not a lot happened in the episodes, but it was just very funny. It just was very, like I say, a lot more sophisticated than Rhubarb and Custard to a certain extent. Although obviously the animation style is very similar. But yeah, I just love that. And again, it's not nostalgia for coming home from school and it being sort of almost being the first thing that you sort of put on when you got your school uniform off. It was the first thing that you sort of switched on to. So yeah. So
it's weird. It's weird because like I don't know about anybody else, but TV programs used to be like having a watch.
Yeah,
it used to be like whether it's Henry's Cat, or I can remember when I was at school at 5:40 on BBC Two, they used to show a Laurel and Hardy short. And that used to be tea time. Right. Okay. So we wheel
Yeah.
the television round. Laurel and Hardy's on, so we'll watch TV while we're having our tea because Laurel and Hardy are on at 5:40. Then it would be the news, and so then it would be adult time. Not that kind of adult time, but my mum and dad weren't sort of pervs because they loved the news that much.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, so we're talking adult stuff now because it's the news. It's not stuff I understood, but it's weird. And then, like you say, I can remember holidays, Flash Gordon, first thing in the morning when I got up, have my breakfast. The black and white Flash Gordon. Instead of having to watch, I would do that, and then it's time to go out and go and play for like 7 hours until it's time for tea. That's back in the old days, kids. Google it. Right, and Neil, you're number 4.
Classic Tom and Jerry. It's something I still watch today if it's on, or I see it, or I YouTube
my number 3. My number 3. Yeah.
I just think it's timeless, and the animation in it. If you think how long ago it was originally made, the animation is still beautiful. I think.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah,
it is really, really good.
Early Tom and Jerry, though.
Sorry, early Tom and Jerry.
I don't know whether they changed studios or something, but there was a particular point where it
completely changed.
It changed, and it just wasn't the same. But yeah.
I mean, the 40s, 50s kind of era stuff is the best, I think.
And it's gorgeous to watch. It's almost it is
brutal,
like
absolutely brutal.
Yeah. So imaginative.
It's fantastic.
It's so imaginative that the different sort of, like you say, the violent moments are just magic.
They really are, aren't they? Probably would never be allowed today.
No, and then obviously then that leads on to Itchy and Scratchy in The Simpsons, where they take it up another level. And I've always thought that they should have done a spin-off, just Itchy and Scratchy show, like the Tom and Jerry show, like little 5-minute cartoons or whatever. Fantastic, yeah. Anything else to say about Tom and Jerry, Neil?
No, that's it. Just pure joy to watch. I still enjoy it now. I really do genuinely put it on. If I've got 5-10 minutes, I'll chuck YouTube on and watch an episode. I think it's a joy. I really do.
I mean, I think back in the day, those short films, well, they would have been short films, won many Oscars and stuff. They were very highly decorated. Some of those, they were just masterpieces, really. It was one that I was something about putting in, but kind of wish I had now.
Well, my number 4, I've sort of lumped this all together rather than picking specific ones, but is the Looney Tunes. So you've got your Bugs Bunny, your Daffy Duck, just all of those characters. Wile E. Coyote,
Foghorn
Leghorn, Elmer Fudd, the whole lot.
Speedy Gonzales.
Thank you very much. Any more for any more? I don't think that there was a dud one in any of those for years. And again, Mel Blanc, what an amazing voice artist he was. He was just like iconic in so many ways. But then you knew his voice as soon as you heard a character. You thought, right, that's Mel Blanc, definitely Mel Blanc.
I used to enjoy Looney Tunes. I know it seems wrong now to bring his name up, but Rolf Harris's Cartoon Time. I used to absolutely love that show where he draw the picture and then you go in to watch the cartoon of the picture he drew, and that's right. I used to absolutely love that program.
But and again, the artwork in them is fantastic. Sound design, fantastic. So, okay, number 3 from you then, Giles.
South Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's legendary, but tell me why I should watch it.
Well, firstly, Matt Stone and Trey Parker are geniuses, I think, comedy geniuses. Have you watched Team America?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you like that film?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So hilarious.
Okay, so yes. So like South Park's that every week, pretty much. Right. I mean, they are geniuses. I think I know they've recently signed some big deal, haven't they?
That's right.
Like produced loads of new stuff, so it's good. It'd be good to see some more output from those guys. But yeah, I think again for me, it was a thing. I remember it coming on to Channel 4, which is a perfect channel for it to come on to, and it was on kind of like maybe at like 11 o'clock at night, and it was sort of thing you came in from the pub and you put it on, and it was, it became a big thing to watch South Park. After you come back from the pub, and yeah, and we used to like we used to come back with the mates and we all watch South Park together, and just laugh our heads off at it. I mean, it's yeah, again, it's weird, it's surreal, it's near the knuckle quite a lot of the time, but yeah, very, very good, very, very funny, very cutting, and very yeah, just very innovative. I think when it came out, we're talking way before things like Family Guy and stuff, who were, Rick and Morty, the really edgy comedy in an animation, which hadn't really been done that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's not your number 3 or number 1 then, Neil?
No, I was in my list, but I thought I'm so early series that I've only ever watched. I thought I can't really justify, because I wouldn't be able to talk about the more up to date. I think I only sort of watched the first 3 series and loved it to death. And I think the movie is completely genius.
Yeah, the movie's incredible.
Yeah, one of the best musicals out there.
Well, that's what those guys do brilliantly as well. The music and stuff as well. I don't know if you've seen any of their other movies as well. They've done like a few other movies.
Yeah.
Basketball's not as good as some of that stuff, but yeah, they're brilliant at doing songs as well.
Yeah. What was the other one? Orgasmatron, was
it? Yeah,
something like that, wasn't it?
And they've done a western. They did a western, which is a musical. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah.
And of course, the Book of Mormon as well, which
I think Book of Mormon, which is
absolutely hilarious and wrong in every level.
Yeah. So those guys are, they've got an amazing track record. So yeah, get on it.
Okay, I will. Right, Neil, you're number 3.
Batman, the animated series, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill as the Joker. I just think it reinvented Batman after we got the glimpse and the glory of Tim Burton's Batman, who reinstated the gothicness of it. And then they just carried it on with such aplomb in the animated series. I personally think Kevin Conroy is probably the best Batman. Just even though he's just a voice, I think he brings such depth, and where he is Batman's voice to me. If I close my eyes, that's who I hear. And the animation, I think it's wonderful. It's almost got the 1920s sort of noir look to it, which is wonderful. There's nothing not to love about it. I don't know whether you've watched it, Giles. Have you, of those ones?
Yeah, I love them, and actually I like all the. I'm always up for watching like the spin-off little kind of short movies and stuff that they've done with various different voice artists involved. Yeah. But they've been great as well. I'm really into all those.
Yeah, they are. They're just superb, absolutely superb. So that's up there. That's something I still watch today. So yeah,
didn't even think about that one, to be honest. But there you go. You got a Batman impersonation for us, Neil?
No.
Okay, right. Thanks for that.
No, that was the impersonation.
Oh, was that? Yeah, was it?
That
Okay,
was
right. Well, my number 3 obviously is Tom and Jerry, which I just said. So, Giles, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Love, Death and Robots.
Wow.
Which is on Netflix, which is an anthology series.
Yeah.
I mean, they use all different sort of animation techniques, so it's not like traditional animation. Executive produced by David Fincher, who's obviously he's one of my favorite filmmakers. It's got obviously good people behind it. It's really interesting. I guess it's mainly sci-fi kind of based. I guess to a certain extent some of it's a little bit Black Mirror. There's a kind of there's a sort of a look at kind of like science fiction, but like the world going wrong if certain things happen, and if technology and stuff. So there is sort of an emphasis on that, but some of the animation is absolutely incredible. I mean, really talking like the most impressive CGI animation that you'll ever see. I think. I mean, some of the stuff, they're only kind of short. They're normally sort of between, I don't know, 12, 15 minutes. Some of them go up to about 20 minutes. But yeah, and again, very sort of dark themes and interesting themes that they deal with. I mean, I just was blown away by the first series, and then the second series came out not that long ago, so I've watched all those. I mean, it's the thing, you can kind of watch them in an afternoon, watch the whole lot. So yeah, I really
never heard of that one.
I completely forgot about it, Giles. Oh man, I'm kicking myself because I think it's one of the best things Netflix has done in a long time.
Yeah,
it's brilliant, Pav. If you've never seen it, some of them are literally, like Giles said, are only about 3 minutes, 4 minutes long.
Oh, right.
Some are about 15 minutes long. Yeah, it's just a wonder to watch.
I'll just add it to the list of stuff I've got to watch.
Well, I mean,
another
to be fair, it's like
you can
a
dip
movie,
in and out as well,
isn't
can't you?
it?
You can dip in and out
You
if
can-
you want to.
You can dip in and out.
Yeah.
Should never dip in and out, but you can dip in and out. That's another show. Let's not go.
But yeah,
down
so
that
it's a
route.
joy. It's an absolute
Okay.
joy.
All right, I shall have a look at that one. You've done your number 2, Neil, with Rick and Morty. My number 2 is the one and only Johnny Bravo.
I nearly chose Johnny Bravo.
I absolutely, even now, I watched a couple of episodes on YouTube a couple of nights ago and was absolutely wetting myself. It is just so good. It's childish. I don't know. I don't know why I like it. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's childish. I don't know. But I love it. I just love Johnny Bravo. Why they never made a movie of it, I don't know.
I thought they did.
No, I mean like a real life movie. They should have.
Oh right, okay.
Who would play? Who would they get though? Who would you reckon?
Who could they get? I don't know. It needs to be someone that's got. I mean, I suppose with the way things go, it'd be The Rock, wouldn't it? It'd be Dwayne Johnson that would have to do it.
Because I was thinking Jim Carrey or someone, but then maybe that's too obvious.
Yeah, it needs to be someone that's quite big, isn't it? Someone who's quite muscular.
Yeah, yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, it does need to be someone quite big.
Ryan Reynolds.
The voice, really.
Yeah, someone who can do a good Elvis impersonation. So maybe
Bruce
you,
Campbell.
Neil. Bruce Campbell. I mean,
Campbell.
Yeah. If they'd have done a movie in the 90s or something, Bruce Campbell would have been perfect.
I'm thinking Bubba Hotep he played. I know he's an old Elvis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that is a great performance.
That's a brilliant film. I love that film.
That is a great film.
I love that one. Indeed. Right. So we've all done our number 10s to number 2s. So, Giles, would you like to run down your 10 to 2, please?
Yes. What have I got? Mask, Ren and Stimpy. Oh, what did I do for number 8?
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. Sorry, guys.
That's
Transformers, Scooby-Doo, Beavis and Butthead, Henry's Cat, South Park, Love, Death and Robots.
Right. Neil, what's your 10 to 2?
So 10, Spider-Man. Number 9, SpongeBob. Number 8, Danger Mouse. Number 7, Futurama. Number 6, Big Mouth. Number 5, Family Guy. Number 4, Tom and Jerry. Number 3, Batman. And number 2, Rick and Morty.
Okay, mine is number 10, F is for Family, 9, BoJack Horseman, 8, Banana Man, 7, Danger Mouse, 6, Rick and Morty, 5, Hong Kong Phooey, number 1, Super Guy, 4, Looney Tunes, 3, Tom and Jerry, 2, Johnny Bravo. So, Giles, what's your number 1 TV comedy? You have already given us it, so it's a bit of a spoiler, but give us it again.
Futurama.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think, I know, and I noticed that The Simpsons is missing from my my list, and I love The Simpsons. I do love it, but Futurama just got me more for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know, because I mean I like science fiction, so maybe that was it. And I think my mate Dave and I are both really into it, and our kids have all got into it as well. So his kids really like it, and our kids really like it. And and I remember buying all the DVDs as well. So I used to just had it. And used to watch it on, whenever I was having a loose moment. I think, I'll just stick on a Futurama, and now obviously they're all on Disney, so I can watch them on that. But yeah, there's just so much originality, and I think, like we said earlier, the characters are all individually so brilliant, and just the concepts and ideas that come. Again, another brilliant voice cast. I mean, Zach Brannigan is one of the greatest characters of all time, in my opinion. And it's just so great, and like you say, it's classic Matt Groening, but I think he was able to, and also I think we sort of said earlier, it had its troubles. It got cancelled. I think it's been cancelled twice, and renewed, and I think that sort of fighting spirit it's a bit of, it's almost like the Simpsons, sort of like little brother or sister that's kind of like people don't really care about so much. And I think it's always been, I've always loved it more than the Simpsons, I have to say. So it had to be my number 1.
Okay, Neil, what's your number 1?
Speaking of Matt Groening, it is The Simpsons. It really is. To me, it's a joy. I still love it now, the new series and everything.
It's my number one as well. Let me just,
yeah.
for total clarity.
I just think the writing, the same with Futurama, the writing that goes on in that is just genius. There's never not a funny moment in an episode. You know, to get that hit rate is very rare, isn't it? Especially how long they've been going.
And the fact that their world now, after 30 odd years, is so dense. It's like there isn't any background players in it. Every character in The Simpsons in Springfield is a character you all know, and they've all got their own story, which I love.
But yeah, the voice actors are all perfect, aren't they? Although I believe Harry Shearer has now left The Simpsons.
No, really?
Apparently so. Yeah, he's sort of. So we'll be getting a new
Harry
Mr.
Shearer.
Burns. Yeah.
And also they've had to do this thing where, like, obviously Hank Azaria is not voicing Apu anymore. Harry Shearer isn't, well, obviously wouldn't be voicing the Doctor anymore. So they're being all like race appropriate now and sex appropriate with the characters. Whether that's going to make it any better or worse, I don't know. But you know, they got those sort of things. You got things are totally different 35 years ago, or whatever it was when the Simpsons started. But I'm the same as you, Neil. I don't think any show after 35 or whatever it is seasons, and you still get at least maybe 6 or 7 good laughs in an episode, is amazing. It's, you know, totally amazing. And
well, I think, you know, obviously I haven't put it on my list, and it is a brilliant show. But I think what you could have an argument for it not just being the greatest TV animation, but also just the greatest sitcom. You know, out and out sitcom, and actually the animation is just, you know, obviously it's a different way, but like, it is a fantastic show. And you know, obviously I've not put it on my list, but I regret it.
But the thing is, I'm really surprised. I thought there would be a lot more duplicates in these 3 top 10s, where there is a couple at best. I think Futurama, Danger Mouse, The Simpsons, Rick and Morty. There's quite a few actually. When I started,
and I forgot about that Love, Death and Robots, and I'm really kicking myself about that.
Oh dear. Right, so we've got some honorable mentions here from some people on Facebook and Twitter. Stu Grant had He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, The Real Ghostbusters, Charlton and the Wheelies. Hello, little old lady. Remember that one? Batman, Teen Titans, Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Remember that one?
No.
Okay. Danger Mouse, The Hollow, Invincible, which is the new. Has anybody seen any of that?
Oh, that's on Amazon, isn't it? That one?
Yeah, that's the new one done by Robert Kirkman. And I can remember watching the first episode, and it's an 18 certificate. And this might be spoilers, but it's all about if superheroes are on the earth, and this one kid is the son of a superhero, and his powers are just starting to come in. And I can remember reading and hearing reviews about it, and they're saying, oh my God, it's so bloodthirsty and gory. And I'm watching like 40 minutes of this first episode, and I thought, well, this is shit. There's nothing. And then the last 5 minutes just goes total like Kill Bill. It's like, you know, legs being ripped off, eyes being pulled out of their sockets. And I thought, oh my God, this is absolutely mental. And then
did you stick with it?
Well, I watched the next sort of 3 episodes, and it didn't quite grab me after that.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know,
sounds like The Boys.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like The Boys in a
sense. It is a little bit like that. Yeah. Yeah. In regards to it's sort of being real world, and there are superheroes. Yeah. And Sport Billy. Remember Sport Billy? No, Terrorhawks. Okay.
Yeah. Terrorhawks was. More like
that was more puppets.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stu. We will scrub that one. Helena White said the Snorks. Bloomin loved it as a kid. The Simpsons, the Poddington Peas.
Down at the bottom of the garden.
Puff the Magic Dragon, Rugrats, DuckTales, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Flintstones, the Wild Thornberrys. Darren Brown said, I've been waiting for this one. Thundercats, obviously. That's Darren Brown, the Thundercat, the wrestler. Karen Clark said Musket Hounds. So that was Dog Tanyan and the Musket Hounds.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rescue hounds are always.
Yeah. Paul said SpongeBob. Nicole said Yvonne and the Yukon. You remember that one?
Don't know what that is.
No. Alice from Just Films and That podcast. Futurama, South Park, BoJack, Centaur World, Rugrats, Farthingwood. I was going to say Farthingwood.
The animals of Farthingwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seemed to go on for an age.
Didn't it?
Like
Jess?
wherever they were trying to get to, it just took them like years.
Right. Cotswold Curiosities on Facebook said, showing my age, but I love Battle of the Planets. Can you remember that one?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I used to love that. Yeah.
Because I can't remember wasn't there a weird sort of boy that would just go
What's that?
like that? A bit like Jack Douglas, like a young Jack Douglas. Kids.
Topical.
Google Jack Douglas on YouTube. Brave and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Carry On films.
Carry On films, yeah. Phil James said, gotta be Animaniacs. I'd class that as sort of, that's like Looney Tunes, isn't it? Animaniacs?
It's
No, maybe not.
Baby versions of them,
That was the
isn't
Steven
it?
Spielberg one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone put raccoons?
No.
Oh, so that nearly made my list. Cyril Sneer. Do you remember the raccoons?
Oh, that name rings a bell.
Yeah, Cyril Sneer.
Cyril Sneer.
Yeah, there was like these raccoons, and there was a family of raccoons or mates, and there was a bad guy called Cyril Sneer who didn't really know what he was. I guess he was like a pig,
right?
But he had like this sort of long nose, and I used to watch that all the time.
That does ring a bell.
No, I don't remember that.
Tom Prosser says 90s X-Men, and our pal Leon said Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And of course, I forgot about Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain, another one, you see. I mean, you got things like Powerpuff Girls. I used to watch a lot of that because of my daughters, and Dexter's Laboratory was another one. The other one, see, Clone Wars. The big Star Wars fan that I am, I never got into it. It just seemed a little bit too kiddified for me. But there's some real dark episodes. But as a whole, I couldn't.
My youngest loves Clone Wars.
Right.
And the Bad Batch as well. He's really loved the Bad Batch, which came out recently as well. So yeah.
But that's it. We've done our top 10. Well done, Giles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was really hard to do it.
Yeah, it always sounds like it's easy when you've got the blank bit of paper in front of you, but then you try and work it out and you think, nah.
And it changes all week. When you do
and
it.
I just did I went with, sort of wrote down my gut instincts and then started thinking about it more. And then it was difficult.
Sleepless nights.
It honestly was sleepless nights. I've been thinking about animation for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
So how's everything going with you then, Giles, in regards to the podcast? Still going well?
Yeah, still plodding along. Yeah, we've got some great guests coming up, and still enjoying doing it. You know, it's a lovely thing doing making podcasts. So yeah, really enjoy doing it still.
So this is Blankpod, obviously.
Yeah.
You very kindly spent time with us on our other podcast, of This Country podcast, but it's the first time on this one. So do you want to let everybody know just what it's about?
So yeah, Blank Podcast is about, we talk to sort of well-known people about their lives and careers, and then any difficult moments they kind of have along the way, and that kind of comes out in our. We try and keep the conversation is quite relaxed and chatty, and we kind of organically find those moments as we start talking. So yeah, it's a really relaxed podcast, and I do it with my my good friend Jim Daly, who's a stand-up comedian, and we talk to all sorts of well-known people. We've been very lucky with the array of guests we've had on the podcast.
Wonderful. We'll put the link in the show,
Thank you.
Obviously, and we'll also put the link into your book as well. So I've said before that I've read it. It's wonderful, and obviously go and follow Giles on Twitter, because with all the shit that's on Twitter, he is that little sliver of light and positivity there. I will put the link to Giles's Twitter page on the show notes as well, because if there's one person you should follow on Twitter, it's us. Obviously, if there's another person you should follow, you should follow Giles. Right, Neil,
thanks,
do you want to go? That's all right, no problem. Go through all the bump, mate, just to let everybody know what they can do with us.
Absolutely. So you can find us on all the social media sites at Top 10 Pods. That's TOPTEN Pods. You can email us at toptenpods@hotmail.com. And likewise, come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/Top 10 Pods, where you can get rewards such as our episodes super early, bonus episodes, behind the scenes videos, and even a chance to be a guest on your very own episode. Check out all of our links via the link tree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please come and subscribe. Leave us a rating, review on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe and follow on Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. And like we said before, please do listen to Giles's podcast. You won't regret it.
Yes, wonderful. That's it for another episode. So it just leaves me to say thank you once again. It is never a chore talking to you, Giles. We love it so much. And we hope that if we can think of another subject, you'll come and join us again.
Oh, I'd love to.
Awesome. That is wonderful.
Awesome.
So thank you very much, Giles.
Thank you, Giles.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you, Pav.
And let's start the countdown.
10.